Hello, this is the first of my little technique videos. I just wanted to start making these because I think they're really helpful, just little snippets on breathing or scooping or whatever that you're sometimes wondering, are you doing it correctly? So yeah, this one is about breathing and scooping. So I'm going to move away from the camera so that you can kind of see my torso, and I might cross leg. So just relax, rest your arms down by your sides. Right, nice deep inhales and exhales. And I want you to feel your breath, because Pilates teachers are going to be really looking for that. If someone comes into me for a private lesson, or even this is the way I used to breathe badly before I was trained, is we're looking to see where the breath is going. Is it going into your chest at all? Or are you just kind of breathing through your nose? And I used to do this. I was guilty of this, where I would just go, yeah, like I was really trying to breathe well for my instructor, because she said they had to improve my breathing, and I kind of panicked and got frightened. So I was breathing really noisily, as if to say, look, I'm really breathing. But then what they would say to me is, what if you breathe quieter? And it's not a criticism. It's if you breathe silently, quieter, you may feel it better, and it stops you from doing that weird nose thing, right? So we'll try that. So straight away you're like a little Pilates ninja, because your breathing is silent, and so is your Pilates, because you're so amazing. But do you see the difference? Like, I can immediately feel it, that I feel and I see my chest expanding. So that means I'm getting it into my lungs. You know, they're expanding at the front. Or could you breathe into the front of your lungs? Could you breathe into the side where your armpits are? Can you breathe into the back of your shoulder blades? And you can see my shoulders are lifting, but it's not because I'm faking it. I'm not lifting my shoulders up. I'm just allowing the breath to fill me so much that it picks my chest up and it lifts my spine up. So you start to notice also that good breathing actually lifts our spine, and that's a huge part of Pilates, that lifting of the spine. And Joe Pilates used to say, try to fill your lungs bottom, middle and top. So you could even put maybe a hand at the bottom of your rib cage and one under your collarbones. And try to feel the air going into the bottom, then even the middle where the heart and the breastbone is, and then right up under the collarbone, so they start to get lifted. Right? And when you inhale, you feel everything inflate. You grow taller. And one of the biggest mistakes we make is then on the exhale we go, or we slump and we squeeze the air out. But what if you could inhale, and it just kept you beautifully tall, and then you tried to keep that lift, and then the exhale is us narrowing our abdominals. So that's the scooping. And if I was to, let's say, remove my t-shirt now so you can kind of see my abdominals, when I exhale, they should look like they narrow. And then do that again. And I promise you, I'm not hardening them, because that's another thing that I see people do. They kind of like pull their guts in, and that can actually lead to a lot of pain if you keep pulling your guts in really strong, really hard. So what I would think about is, if you put one hand on your belly button, soften your belly button inward. I think of a balloon deflating, like, right, softening. And we want to see the waist, the oblique muscles narrow, because you're pulling your belly button in. You're actually pulling both sides of your six pack together. Your oblique muscles are wrapping around you. So this is all narrowing. And often I do teach this with a band. So if you can get your band or your belt, wrap it around your waist like a big fat kind of corset there. I leave it nice and thick. I don't want to punch up too much. Cross it over into the opposite hands. And I inhale to fill my lungs, and then I exhale. And I pull the band nice and tight. Now what I'm going to do, I think I'll put my t-shirt on for that, because maybe if you see the wrinkles forming in my t-shirt, you have a better visual for that. That seems to work better when I do it. And I might even want to kneel for this. So I may need to tilt this slightly. Yeah. So yeah, this might kind of visualize the narrowing better when you see wrinkles forming in my t-shirt. So again, wrapping the band around my waist, cross it over. And it looks more impressive straight away. So I want to inhale, fill my lungs. Exhale. Yeah, so it's a little bit more, you can see this narrowing that we want. So again, inhale. Exhale. And I'm pulling the band so that you can see the narrowing. I'm sort of hinting to my torso what I want it to do. I'm hinting. So don't pull the band so tight that you try to cut yourself in half, but do just kind of hint to your body that you want it to narrow. And you can see I am trying to inhale, watch me grow taller in the center, and then when I exhale, I narrow, but I keep this lifted, so I try not to slump. Let's do 2 more. Last one, keep releasing it each time. Don't pull yourself apart in the center too much. Go easy. Yeah, and you can sort of see that's what we want, like a corset. And I think you keep practicing that for a moment if you wish. But I think it's also important to be very kind to yourself. Sometimes you come to Pilates and your abdominals are quite hardened because you're used to sticking them out accidentally, and you've never been told to pull them in. Or sometimes you come to Pilates with lower back problems, and because of this whole area at the back of my waist can be quite rigid, and then it can be hard for this to just start to soften inward and relax. So you just keep practicing it, and it will happen over time, because I've seen it even with my own partner. Like, he was used to pushing his belly out from going to the gym. Unfortunately, he was never told to pull it in. And then when I started to train him with Pilates, in a way his abdominals felt hardened, and they were, sort of rigid. But then when he kept practicing it, eventually there was give. Then I'd work with him a few months later, and we'd notice that there was softening here and give. And that's what you're looking for. It's like, we have it in our heads that this scoop has to be really hardened because Pilates exercises are really difficult. But actually, the more this relaxes and releases and drops inward, the better your scoop becomes. And you have to remember that some exercises in Pilates are incredibly athletic. Like, you're moving this huge range of movement eventually. And really, if any part of you is hardened and locked, you won't have your full graceful range of movement. So that's why I think of the scooping as being a kind of a softening scooping rather than a hardening. And we really want to see those abdominal muscles wrap. So let's do 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale, find your scooping and narrowing. And the last 2, or 1 more, I think I said done it. Inhale. Ta-da! Never trust a Pilates teacher when she counts. You can never trust us. We just keep saying 2, but we mean 10. Okay, so that's it with the breathing. I hope that was helpful. Keep practicing that. Anytime you get a spare moment, just inhale, fill your lungs. Exhale, scoop your belly, soften it, and make sure that it is kind of softening and relaxing, because it will help. Okay.